A Magic the Gathering player has recently copyrighted his deck list in order to prevent people from copying his innovation. Would you happen to be for or against it? What's going on, guys? This is Miasin. So, a subscriber of mine recently sent me a message on Discord telling me about this case and how I should potentially make a video on it. And since it's a pretty hot topic, with like netdecking being controversial, copyrights being controversial just overall in the world, I figured, why not? And to you, Morgan, who actually sent me this beautiful idea, thank you so much. And I would actually like you guys to take a look at this article right there. Link will be in the description box below, but it actually did talk about the situation quite well, so that's actually how I got my information personally. So essentially, Dr. Robert Hofden, which happens to have a PhD in applied physics, so it's actually pretty insane, was the very first person, I'm pretty sure in the history of Magic, to do something like that, where people are expected to build their own decks. People have been doing this for pretty much ever, and he was like, you know what, I have put in just so much of my creativity, power, juice inside this deck list, I just feel like I have to copyright it. I kind of took this concept and I tried to figure out, should Yu-Gi-Oh do the same thing, or do you think it might not make sense? Well, before we actually start giving opinions, I'm going to try to figure out a maximum of reasons why something like this could or could not be done. So first of all, the concept of copyright is kind of complicated. A lot of people feel like they understand it very well, but at the same time they don't, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm really just on point with it, because obviously I did take a few classes in my previous years of university and stuff like that on the concept of copyright, but I'm still not the biggest pro. I've never copyrighted something myself personally in like official ways. What is a copyright at the end of the day? Protection of your intellectual property, allowing the owner all the rights to kind of distribute, sell, whatever, but only allowing other people that aren't kind of the ones who actually have the copyright to use your product or your property or anything, as long as they don't have permission from you. If we follow this concept by the book and apply it for Yu-Gi-Oh, you're going to see that it might be a bit exaggerated in the most extreme situations. Like, for example, if I wanted my Cyber Dragon Trap deck list to be copyrighted, how would that really work? Would I have the copyright on the entire deck list, or on like the concept, on the idea, on the innovation itself, the creative concept that is Cyber Dragons with only one Cyber Dragon, no machine dupe, a lot of trap cards, maybe no Galaxy Soldiers, stuff like that, whereas people for like years and years I've been playing 3 Cyber Dragon, 3 machine dupe, everything. How is it really going to apply? Am I just going to have like a copyright that says like, oh, if someone has the exact same deck list, that's just not something that is going to be okay? Or if someone has relatively similar concept, but at the same time there are a few cards different, then no. Like, it's not really the kind of thing that would be like quantifiable, because a deck list isn't like one single entity, combination of a lot of individual unique entities, because one single card is one, entity, and you can't really have a copyright on one card, whatever. You can't really have a copyright on a bunch of just, I don't know, cards that would be just super staple. For example, like, oh, I have a copyright on the fact that I play 3 Ash, 3 Ghost Bell, and something in my deck. Obviously that makes no sense, because then, other people, all of a sudden, they're not really allowed to play 3 Ash and 3 Bell. I don't really get it. So, like I said, for the most extreme situations, that would make absolutely no sense. So, in my head, also, netdecking is literally taking a full deck list and just copying it, playing it, and assuming that you're going to have good results because the person you copied from did well with the deck. So, this is the main point with copyrights. People who kind of create those really nice deck lists, they don't want people to play the exact same thing, but sometimes people end up playing very similar decks, but with, like I said, just a few cards that are different. But like Drytron, for example, how is the copyright going to work in that situation? Kind of makes no sense, right? Imagine if I, hypothetically, were the very first person to think about Drytron. What am I going to do? Like, oh, by the way, I'm the first person to think of all the combos, therefore, yeah, sorry, but you have to ask me permission if you want to start playing Drytron combos. You shouldn't be entitled to having like that as an intellectual property, because first of all, you're not even the creator of the game, and second second of all, maybe a lot of other people thought about the deck as well, and they just never really made it official, but it's not really you who are the only one to have all that, I don't want to say like effort, but innovation just for you alone. But again, I could be wrong about the concept of copyright. Maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's just a bit more broad or a bit more specific. I kind of doubt it, because otherwise, I don't know, it'll start being like just super strict for everything. Like, yeah, you can't do that, whatever, you can't do that, but that. And also, how do you start keeping track of everything that you're allowed and not allowed to do? What if everyone and their mother starts copywriting their decks, and then at the end of the day, you're not even allowed to play like something very specific because everybody is trying to copyright those kind of strategies? But if it applies for the exact deck list, then I can understand. The issue is that you're kind of going out of your way to copyright something that I don't even think people at the end of the day are going to copy 100%, because the side deck is always going to vary. I don't know how the other games function, like Magic and everything. I'm not an expert. I don't know if there's even like equivalent of side decks or anything. There's a reason why in Yu-Gi-Oh! You will never really see people who have the exact same deck as other people for the main, extra, and side. And for that reason, I don't think copywriting or whatever would really make sense for Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's just how I think. I, once again, could be objectively incorrect. So if you have some good reasoning, please let us all know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.